And hello again. I apologize for that little interlude. My internet crashed, but I'm back. So I may have lost all of you. I'm going to take a moment to let everybody regather. Thank you for your patience. Got a few folks coming back. If you're just rejoining, you consider maybe you want to change the thing you're looking to add to better internet. Very nice. So some folks have come back. Welcome back, Roshni. Thank you for rejoining. So we were looking at some qualities that we want to cultivate in ourselves. One thing specifically that we would like to bring into our life and something that we'd like to let go of. And now we were asking, what is the nature of mathematics? Across the globe, in every language, we all trust in mathematics and its consistency, its reliability, that these functions, addition and subtraction, work everywhere, right? Now let's take these two functions, addition and subtraction, and let's look at our own mind. These habits that we're looking to build, these practices that we're looking to cultivate. Which of these two functions, addition and subtraction, doesn't work at the level of the mind? We're going to have a participatory session this evening, so if you're there, feel free to chime in, drop a note. What do you think? Between addition and subtraction, which doesn't work at the level of the mind? Well, let's look at it this way. Each of us thought of some quality, some tendency, some habit that we'd like to let go of, right? Have you let go of that already? Is it gone? Probably not. That's why you came up with it, as something you still would like to let go of. But is this just a new idea that you came up with? You'd like to let go of this thing? No, I'm sure it's something you've been attempting to let go of for quite a long time, right? But subtraction doesn't work. At the level of the mind, you can't simply take thoughts, emotions, ideas, and get rid of them, eliminate them. You can't take some tendency that you have and just cut it out. In fact, at the level of the mind, whatever you resist persists, right? When we have some quality, anger or frustration, impatience, that we don't like about ourselves and we become agitated, does it go away? No, it becomes even more entrenched. If you tell a young person, don't be angry, does it work? No, the anger flares, right? Whatever we resist at the level of the mind actually persists, it entrenches itself. So we're looking at how we develop new habits, but the foundation is to identify what is it that we're looking to bring in. So if you look at your life and there's some things that are frustrating you, some things you'd like to let go of, some tendencies that aren't working for you, but you find yourself perpetually stuck with them, what else can you do? Well, you can add. And that's what we're going to be really looking into. For the next 10 minutes, we're going to be exploring the science and the secrets to adding successfully. We can add new habits, and there are ways that are more effective than others. But first, before we get to adding this new habit, this new tendency, patience, poise, forgiveness, whatever it is that we need, or maybe it's exercise, maybe it's healthy food. We're going to cover the whole spectrum. First, that thing about ourselves that we're struggling with, that we'd like to get rid of, what do we have to do with it? Any ideas? What do we have to do with that habit that we already have, that tendency, that quality that we find most frustrating about ourselves? I see giving kindness, beautiful. Give it kindness, what else? Anything else? Well, first we simply have to accept it. We have to accept this very thing that we most would like to let go of, get rid of. And this isn't so easy. If you think about that quality that you were looking to let go of, I usually have to look within. Beautiful. Yeah, we look within and maybe we ask, what is the source of this? There's all value there, but fundamentally, can we accept it? See, when we're not accepting it, when we're resisting it, when we're fighting it, we're just stuck with it. It's like it's coming towards us again. There's that tendency again, and we're just pushing it away. Go away, go away, go away. Where is it? It's right here. We're stuck with it. But if you just drop, it moves. It's coming, that tendency, that anger, that frustration, that laziness, whatever. Go away, I don't want this. Stuck, stuck, stuck. If you accept, if we drop the resistance, then there's room for movement. Right? They practice this in circles all across the world. People come together, they sit down, they say, hello, my name is Ilan, and I'm an alcoholic, codependent, whatever it is. And I've been sober for 30 years. Right? This is profound. The very first thing you're doing is accepting, I am this thing that I'm most looking to get rid of, an alcoholic, an addict, whatever it may be. But now where's the attention going? The attention is going on, and I've been sober for 10 years, 20 years, right? All the attention is on sobriety. That's the focus. So we need to find these positives that are the antithesis, the opposite of that thing that we're resisting, that we're looking to get rid of. And somehow accept that very thing and yet put all of our attention, all of our focus on the quality, the skill, the habit that we're looking to build. Make sense? This is actually so powerful. This is the math of the mind. This is actually understanding how does the mind work. Throughout our whole lives, we're looking to cultivate new things and to let go of things that aren't serving us. And yet, we don't apply this. We try to get rid of those things and we end up stuck with them. They're glued to us. There's a very, very beautiful Rumi passage. One phrase from Rumi where he says, water the fruit trees, don't water the thorns. This is so gorgeous. Water the fruit trees, don't water the thorns. What is he saying? Is he saying rip out the thorns? No. He's simply saying water the fruit trees, give your attention, give your energy, give your focus, your love to that which you're looking to cultivate, to the fruit. It's so nice, isn't it? Let the thorns be there. They're there. But if you keep putting your focus, your attention on the fruit trees, that thing you're looking to cultivate, you'll have movement. So this is our life. We are looking to find habits that are fruit. Looking to find habits that bear fruit for us, that continually bring season on season success, joy, health, wellness. Right? So let's say we found that. Think for yourself. Let's take this back to ourselves and be personal for a moment. What are those qualities you were most looking to get rid of? Just for you, reflect. Now ask yourself, what is the opposite of this? Right? What is the opposite of this thing that I'm really looking to get rid of? If it's anger that you're struggling with, is it patience? Is it forgiveness? If you feel lazy and you're not exercising, what would that look like? If you feel that you're eating foods that aren't really serving you, instead of letting go of those foods and reducing your diet to nothing, what would be healthy for you? Right? And just focus on adding that. A really quick personal anecdote. I grew up a vegetarian and then I ate meat for a period and then I went back to vegetarianism and it was wonderful for me and has served me in so many ways. And many people come to me and ask, how do you live a healthy life as a vegetarian? And they're really curious. And so often people approach that by simply cutting out meat, right? Trying to eliminate, again, eliminating. And then what are you left with? What's your diet? See, the secret there in that instance also is adding the things that really bring nourishment, that bring health, that bring joy, that are delicious. You can't just cut out foods that you love, they're so tasty but aren't good for you. You need to add the things that are equally delicious or even much more so, but that really do serve you. This is the thing that gives you nourishment and joy and delight in your life. Adding the things that really serve you. Whether it's exercise, whether it's a meditation practice that clears your whole world to reorient towards the things that do serve you. But now let's say you've identified that thing that you want to move towards. You've built a path to change. It's still really difficult, isn't it? Have you noticed this? So the first thing I want to share, and we're going to get a little bit into the science, is that change is possible. Fundamentally, it is 100% possible. You can transform your whole being. And let's just go to the brain. You can transform your brain. For years and years and years and years, scientists thought the brain was static, right? That you had the brain that you have. You get a brain, it develops to a certain phase, and then you're stuck with it. And they have discovered recently that this is absolutely not the case. You can look into neuroplasticity and how the brain adapts. The brain is constantly evolving and changing. You can literally learn anything, and you can cultivate a brain that serves you and that has the patterns and the capacities that you would like it to have by building these new pathways. It's simply a matter of which path you're walking. And yet change is very, very tricky, right? Because the brain is designed to resist change. Safety first is the mechanism of the brain. The brain is looking to maintain an equilibrium of familiar action, familiar process. So any new activity that you introduce, even if it's so healthy, so good for you, so wonderful, you love it, is actually a challenge initially. And your brain will be resistant to that new action, right? So we often find that starting is the hardest part, right? We can think of an idea, but there's this inertia. So there's some fascinating things to look at. There's some milestones. I recently read a wonderful article. I have to give a little shout out here to a dear friend, another guide and mentor, Johan Berlin. He's the CEO of the Telex Institute, and he did a beautiful interview on Medium. You can look it up, with Dr. Evian Gordon, who is one of the founders of Total Brain, an amazing researcher, a neuroscientist who's done over 1 million case studies looking at brain function and published an incredible, I think, some 300 papers. And Johan sits and speaks with him about this very thing, about change and how we activate change and how difficult it can be. How do we build effective habits? And Dr. Evian Gordon shares some fascinating things about some key milestones that are tools through which to activate change, given that our brain is resistant to new initiatives, to new activity. And the first one is one, right? And we all experience that. When you go to the gym that one time, something opens, right? There's an enthusiasm, there's a rush, there's a possibility that happens when you do something the first time. So how many of us have a good idea? Something that would be healthy, that would be good for us, that we'd love to do, something creative, something we've really wanted to, learning an instrument, and it sits there as an idea. Well, that first time, finding the right first immersion to have a great experience is a powerful tool. It breaks that ice, it opens possibility. The next milestone is 7. When we get to 7 repetitions of something, all of a sudden there's a huge amount of learning that's happened. By the time we get to 7, we've learned a lot about what that thing is, whether it's going for a run or cooking yourself a healthy meal or playing an instrument or meditation, yoga. After 7, 20. When you make it to 20 repetitions of something, there's a statistically relevant shift that's happened where it's starting to really form into a habit. In your brain, you're building a neural pathway, right? What flashes together in the brain, what activates together, ends up forming together. When you're building these connections and you repeat them, then they integrate, they become cohesive. So at 20, that pattern in the brain starts to become substantial and observable as a real habit. And then 30. By the time you make it to 30, it is actually coalesced as a habit. Congratulations, you've done it. You've built a new and healthy and supportive habit, right? And then there's 1,000. 1,000 is automatic, right? We know those things that we have done over and over and over and over, and now it takes no thinking, it takes no effort, it's automatic. The system just does it. And this is a profoundly beautiful thing, whether it's your jump shot as an athlete or whether it's getting up and doing Tai Chi. I had a father growing up who set an amazing example for me. Every morning he was up and he was doing his Tai Chi, and it was just ease for him. because he'd done it to a point where it was natural, it was his tendency. It didn't take thought. It didn't take what should I do. So this is a beautiful little metric, these milestones, to set an intention around something that you would like to bring into your life and then to move along this ladder. You can make it to 1, you can make it to 7. But forgetting about the numbers, it's really just all about practice, right? Really understanding, well, what is practice? And what does practice do for me? Because maybe you miss a day. Maybe you don't make your streak. And then you think, what? Oh, you throw it out? See, my background is actually in the arts. And I learned a very beautiful lesson in the process of being an artist, that often the actual process was the destination, right? The process of exploring something was a destination. But here, if your goal is to achieve that outcome in building a new habit, you can be somewhat feverish potentially. But just knowing that returning to the practice will serve you. Just building that muscle slowly and with care and attention, and forgiving yourself completely and letting it go if you fall off doesn't matter. Actually, when we become upset and frustrated, judging ourselves over not sticking with something, then we go the other way, right? Then we fall into a kind of a fixed mindset, oh, I can't do this, or this isn't for me, other people get to do this, and we judge ourselves and we don't progress. It's when we can keep that open mind and joy and just stay with coming back to the practice that we grow in such amazing ways, that so much learning happens in that process. What we practice ends up feeding us. And practice is that road to greatness. You've all heard, right? 10,000 hours to mastery. Anything that you want to master, it's not that you were born with it or not born with it. Maybe you have some great talent in this or that, but mastery is simply a process of returning to practice over and over and over. So, I've said so much. Thank you for listening. It's been a real joy. I'm curious, does anybody have anything that they'd like to share? Any comments on what's been successful for them in cultivating a practice? There's one more thing I would like to offer. But curious to see if there are questions or something that you would like to add. Feel free to share it. You all have a lot of wisdom on the habits that you've built. But the one thing that I want to leave you with is that not all habits are equal in terms of how they can serve you in your life. And I'm going to be biased and say that for me, learning a meditation practice was the thing that transformed my whole life in terms of my capacity to build healthy habits and to learn. Because in building a meditation practice, you're shifting the brain to become more plastic, more malleable, more receptive. I was talking about how neuroplasticity is simply which path have you walked, right? And you keep walking a path even over stone. You've been to a mountain and you've seen a path through granite that is beaten in by feet, right? Even stone will become soft and worn away, but it takes a long time. However, as you meditate, your brain, this mountain that you're transforming, sculpting, this beautiful sculpture that you're crafting, becomes softer and softer and more capable of learning new things. Literally, the brain becomes more malleable and it becomes much easier to shift, and for patterns that aren't serving you to fade away and for new ones to develop. So I would really offer this, that if you haven't experienced a consistent meditation practice, go get a tool and go have that first experience. I was talking about that first experience. That first experience is so powerful. So there's apps, there's many things that you can get that can help you build a habit. But you know, that first immersion is not that powerful. There are two programs. One is called Sahaj Samadhi, the Art of Meditation, and the other is the Art of Living Happiness program that I just cannot recommend enough for developing the life that you want to develop. The Sahaj Samadhi is an immersion into an incredible exploration of meditation, and you get a very unique and very profound tool that helps you go in very deeply, very easily. And you get to spend 3 days in short 2-hour sessions learning and exploring and going deeply into this, so that first experience is so powerful that you're launched on your path. You're launched into this and it becomes much more effortless. You get to 7 quickly, you get to 20, 30, and you're just cruising. The other is the happiness program, where you learn a breathing practice that just eliminates stress from the system. It's the sky breathing practice. And it's profoundly powerful. And similarly, you get to immerse yourself in a retreat where you learn this practice in an amazing setting with an incredible teacher. And you get to really have an experience of deep rest, deep relaxation, and how the breath can bring you into a meditative state, but can also cleanse so many toxins out of the system, right? So instead of resisting things, you're simply cleansing them and moving them through. You're putting attention on that positive. You're watering the fruit tree of a healthy, rejuvenating, invigorating, enlivening practice. So these 2 practices are fruit that I would ask you to pick for yourself, and that I know will end up helping so many more fruit trees blossom in your garden in so many ways. So thank you so much for joining. It's been a beautiful opportunity. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but I'm just going to stay positive and keep moving to the next opportunity, getting even better at Facebook Living and learning my gadgets through repetition, trial and error, and moving forward. So thank you very much for coming. If you have any last questions or offerings that you'd like to share with the others who came here, by all means, drop them in the chat. Otherwise, take this challenge. This week, we've got the weekend coming up. This coming week, think of something that you'd like to bring into your life. Some new habit. Maybe that thing that you thought of at the very beginning of this session. And ask yourself, what would a concrete step be to launch myself on the path? The last thing I'll offer, I keep coming up with more that I want to share because I've studied this so deeply for myself, but is take it in steps, in short steps, right? A time-bound commitment that you can manage, that you know you can handle. If you tell yourself, I'm going to exercise for the next year every single day, and then you miss a day, you're going to get disheartened and it's not going to move. But just like we were talking about 1, 7, 20, 30, even forget that and just say 1 day or 2 days. Can you make yourself that delicious salad for dinner that you've been dreaming of 3 days in a row, or even just 1? And then when you complete that, then you set your next commitment to yourself. Now 2 days, then 3 days. You'll see this will take you to where you need to be. Okay, I'm yapping too much. You all have beautiful things to get to, but thank you so much for joining. It's been a great joy being with you, and all the blessings and all the best to the healthy habits that you're cultivating and the success that it will bring you and the example that you'll be setting for others. Keep encouraging them to focus on what really serves them, and those things that come up, got to accept them. They're going to be there. It's okay. Just move to what serves. All right. All the best. Lots of love to your evening. Catch you next time.